Today I want to talk about self-esteem, important topic that gets on my nerves sometimes with people and things and whatnot. I used to be pretty self-conscious about the way I looked, the way I was reflected upon people, people's opinions of me, or namely my thoughts of people's opinions on me. And eventually I reached a certain level of maturity, and I realized that these were people, these were opinions, and everything about other people's opinions of you and your opinions of yourself makes absolutely no sense. The scales that we use to judge people on, typically when we're talking about appearances, is insanity. Now, obviously, if someone is just completely nasty looking. They haven't washed, they don't smell great, their hair's all natted up, so they don't brush it, whatever. I think we can agree that that's not something that most of us would want to interact with, for the simple fact that they take poor care of themselves. I know that's just their decision, their choice. In some cases it may not be. But what I'm saying about that is, we got that, we understand that. I'm talking about judging people based upon their appearances by their natural looks. I think that's one of the most obscure things that I've ever heard of. This nose, what is the perfect nose? Obviously that's an eye of the beholder. But I think it's strange to judge people on that, because everybody has an external look and an internal look, an external beauty and an internal beauty. And if you've ever seen, when you talk to somebody and you get to know a person better, one of two things will happen. You will either enjoy that person, or you will more or less than you did before you started talking to them. And typically what will happen is they'll become more attractive to you or less attractive to you. I think beauty is just an outer, on the external sense, is the outer shell. It's just the thing that's holding who we are. It's the body that is holding you. It's just an outer casing. It's kind of like when you have like an Easter egg at Easter time, and then you see the outer shell. Oh, that's nice. It's pretty attractive. I'm gonna grab that one because it's cool. It looks great. You crack it open. This only had 14 cents in it. You know, it's almost not worth my time. I should have looked more deeply at this. I shouldn't just, based on the appearance of the egg. That analogy plays over in so many different ways for so many different people. You've got the outer shell, the outer covering, but the fact is, you don't know that person until you've went inside. And people have a certain way they carry themselves, and the way they carry themselves is a reflection upon their internal being. If people shrug their shoulders and slack, you see, then that's some of our internal stuff coming out through the shell, and then we can get basic opinions on that. We're not judging the shell itself, we're judging the way that the shell's carried, if that makes any sense. So we can see that, we can see the internal coming out. Sometimes we do get some of those things on the shell that we can see. It's like when you hold the shell up to the light, you may get a small idea of what's inside. So it's kind of like, as a person, you can see how they carry themselves, how they interact with others, and then those things you can make quick judgment calls. But until you've talked with the person and you've had some sort of conversation, and then you've seen their actions, how they talk to others, how they respect this, how they feel about this, then you start to truly know who they are, and then they start to become either attractive or unattractive to you. One of the things I hate, a statement I absolutely cannot stand, is when people say, I don't know what she sees in him, I don't know what he sees in her. Well, the thing is, we're seeing inside of them, we're not seeing outside of them. You're looking on the outside, clearly. You're looking on the outside of us. You're not looking at what's there, what's inside. And when I talk about self-esteem and self-consciousness and stuff like that, some people think that I don't care. I don't have any values with the way people look or dress or whatever. And the fact is, I don't have that. I mean, the way you carry yourself is a big thing to me, not the way you look. Do I know what attractive and unattractive is based on a sense around other people? Certainly. But have you ever, the more I'm sure you've had examples of this, you're talking to somebody, they could be what you would consider attractive on the outside. And the more you talk to them, the more just you get disgusted. You're just a complete turn off. This is just, I don't enjoy your company. That person becomes less attractive. Eventually you start to look at somebody not as a person, but as just something. And when you characterize something, something's not really, when you're just a generic something, you don't just judge it on look, beauty. It's something so much more than that. And when you start looking at people as things and entities and not just human, I think you start to discover what you are and what others are, what you see in others. What are the what are the important things? Because looks are not important. What fascinates me is if you zoom out of a city, and maybe you see like a bridge connecting two pieces of land over the water, and you see the little towers and structures and stuff, and we're not that high up, mind you, but you look down and you see, look how tiny that bridge is. I mean, from this point, it looks like I can just grab that bridge, pick it up, and set it over here. Look at these little tiny cars. I mean, I can move these cars. I can play with these cars. And look, there's even littler things inside these cars. There's people in those cars. When you go out, not even very far, you don't leave the Earth's atmosphere. You can and you look and you see how small everything here is, and you realize that the little things between two people. Is from viewed up higher up, it's just strange. The fact that we have to judge each other is weird when you look at it from how small we are, on the grand scheme of things. I think that's just one of my strange things. Is when I see stuff like that, it blows my mind. With that being said, do I try to keep up some sort of image or appearance? Well, certainly. I'm not going to have any type of reconstructive surgery. I mean, I'm not going to do anything like that. That's not important to me. Do I lift weights? Yeah, I lift weights. I exercise. I try to eat healthy. Just because I just like those things. It's part of who I am. It's part of my upbringing. Obviously, I've said before, there was a point in my life when I was a larger person, and I constructed a diet, and I followed the diet, and I stuck to the diet, and I realized that the people, I had great friends growing up, and I didn't pick my friends based on the way they looked. I just picked my friends and who they were. I liked people that were themselves. They didn't conform to be what this person was, what this person wanted them to be. If I disagreed with something they said or did, that's okay. We had disagreements, but we didn't cease to interact. We didn't cease to be social and be friends. And I found myself attracted to people. Now, this is not just on the dating sense now, but I found myself attracted to people that were unique and that were confident in themselves. You have to love yourself before others can love you, and that's so true. When you start to admire who you are inside, because that's all that matters. This is the shell that holds you. You know what I mean? You had no control over, but what you do on the inside, you do have complete control over. You can make yourself a complete 10, a complete knockout, by projecting those things. Get the flow of your aura going, because that's ultimately what it's all about. I love people as individualists, and it's funny when they get in groups the way they act. Some people just conform, and some people won't. So they'll sit there and they'll be themselves, and I like those people. Those people stick out to me. So anyway, just to think about self-esteem. Once you realize that you have no control over this, you can make yourself look better in different ways, but realize those things are not important. You can look on a bigger scale. Look at the things you can control. Love yourself, and then let the others, let the others flow in. The more confident you are, the more people realize you're confident. And then the more they realize you're confident, the more they admire your true beauty.